Hello and welcome Matador families to the school year 2020-2021. I'm looking forward to working with your student. My name is John Grigsby. Welcome to Back to School Night. If you are looking for information on ROP Sports Medicine and Advanced Sports Medicine, you are in the right place. Thank you very much for joining our video virtually tonight. A little background on myself. As I mentioned, my name is John Grigsby. I'm a certified athletic trainer. I actually started my journey in sports medicine at Northgate High School, where I first took my sports medicine class as a junior, the same one that I am now teaching 15 years later. After attending Northgate High School, I immediately continued my pursuit of kinesiology at San Diego State University, where fortunately I was able to meet my wife, Katie, as we were working at a restaurant together. Then we moved up here to fabulous Miramani, where I am now teaching in my 15th year, as I mentioned, and am the school's athletic trainer for all sports, supporting all student athletes. While I was at school at San Diego State, I wanted to try to gain a little bit more experience, so I actually worked with two semi-professional teams. I worked with the San Diego Bulls, which was the ice hockey team, and the San Diego Sockers, which was the indoor soccer team. And so I got to work with professional level athletes, collegiate athletes. While at San Diego State, I worked with the University of San Diego at their sports medicine department, and then also high school level athletes. And I've loved the entire journey, but I especially love working with high school athletes. I think they're really dedicated to their sport, dedicated to their team, and they're driven to get back on the field and be the best athlete they can be. So the course outline is going to be a little bit of an introduction, obviously, into the field of sports medicine. Give the students a little history of sports, how we kind of came from where we were to where we are now, as well as a history of medicine and how medicine has developed and improved over kind of trial and error, but also just sort of seeing the feats and the steps that we've taken to advance the field. And then the related disciplines, so within nutrition, within strength conditioning, within physical therapy, within physicians and chiropractors, there's many avenues that we can follow within the field and the umbrella, as we call it, of sports medicine. We also will be discussing safety rules, how to protect yourself, especially from bloodborne pathogens, so wearing gloves and other personal protective equipment. We'll talk about how to have safety procedures and rules within the labs once we do have the classes back open and we are doing hands-on practical activities, as well as for on the field and how we are handling first aid, handling communication, discussions with parents, coaches, athletes to share education, things like that. And then we also will be learning some CPR skills to put together with our first aid skills, as well as the legal issues. When we're dealing with medicine, there's a lot of legality that the students need to be aware of, and so we will address all that. More about the course is we are very embedded in anatomy and physiology. That's where we get a lot of our nuts and bolts. The students are going to learn the musculoskeletal system, so every single bone in the body plus their features, as well as many of the muscles in the body, and then how those work together to get the body in motion for sports. We'll also understand some of the other physiological responses that the body utilizes in order to be our prime athlete. And so that would be our cardiovascular, that would be some of our digestive system, that would be some of our other systems and how they function and assist us to be the best athlete we can be. We will also go over assessments of injuries. So after the students pretty much learn the entire body and each of the joints and things like that, then we'll go through specific injuries that may occur in certain areas of the body, so they'll know how to address those and assess those. The biggest thing, though, that we like to try to teach our student athletic trainers and our student athletes is to prevent the injuries in the first place. So we'll discuss a lot of injury prevention. Unfortunately, once the injury already occurs, then they need to learn the care, the treatment. So that will be where the physical therapy and some of those other areas will come into play. And then career pathways, as I mentioned, some of the disciplines that fall under the sports medicine umbrella. We want to show them all the fields that they can maybe attempt, try, see if they like it, and then obviously maybe make a future career choice. Now, the synchronous learning. While we're in class together live, I like to try to make it engaged, and so I like to try to have some fun activities. My biggest thing is to try to get the students up and out of their desk. I teach standing up. I like to move around a lot, and so I encourage the students to also learn standing up. Go ahead and just, as long as you're still in front of your screen and you're engaged, you may be able to get up out of your desk chair, because I know they're spending a lot of time in front of the screens. But these synchronized lessons will be mandatory for attendance. If you, for some reason, can't make it, just make sure your parent or guardian is calling the office, and so therefore you're clearing that absence. I'm expecting the students to be engaged. I'm going to have some live lectures, some videos, some diagrams. We're going to have some anatomical models that I'll be pulling from the classroom, some medical journal excerpts so that students can do a little of their own research and validating resources. Some of the advanced sports medicine students will be leading some discussions and some lessons as well, and we'll be able to put the students into small breakout rooms where these student leaders, advanced students who've taken the course, will be able to lead and engage the smaller pods. We use some other fun features within Zoom, like the polling feature, the chat room to make sure students are engaged, and kind of an interaction as well, so that they're not just sitting there staring away at a blank screen or working on other work while they should be engaging in our discussion. And then also, we're kind of on our toes learning this, so I might learn something new tonight, tomorrow, and that is going to be part of our new lesson. The asynchronous is going to be very similar. We're going to be utilizing Canvas, and a lot of modules will be built on there, so there'll be short little things for the students to read and maybe respond. Maybe watch a video, respond to that. Do some little activity after doing a little research, answer some little quiz questions, things like that. So the asynchronous will be self-driven, and those modules will be found on Canvas under our course. Mondays are pretty cool. We've come up with a homeroom. So we have an academy cohort from 9 to 9:45 every Monday to kind of check in. Hey, how's distance learning going for you? Is there anything that I can get you? Do you need a Chromebook? Is your Wi-Fi poor? Do you not have Wi-Fi? Can we get you a hotspot? Are you having a hard time logging in? Here's where you can access this. Here's who you can communicate that to get your needs taken care of. We're also trying to build some community connections. So we're trying to get the kids to make friends and get to know each other in a difficult environment. But each of our teachers at our school are doing our best to make sure we're creating these connections so that your students have somebody that they feel comfort, safe, and that they can rely on if they need any help. We've started the year off with racial equity lessons, which I think are pertinent to the culture and the environment that we're dealing with in the world. And so bringing this to the forefront within our school to let our students know what's going on, I think is very important, and try to engage them in this discussion. I think will be relevant to their lives now as well as the future, and I think we are really going to be able to change the world by changing the system that we're in. Constant communication and training, that's what we're working on with the students, trying to let them be advocates for themselves, making sure they are resilient and finding all the resources they can to make sure that they're successful. And this little cohort academy, we got their back. We're right there with them. Assignments. Most of the assignments are just going to be the synchronous classes where the students are engaged, whether they're involved with the chat room, the breakout rooms, the polling systems, opening up for discussion. Maybe the student will be prepared with a lesson that they're going to have to present and share their screen. So most of the synchronous classes where I'm going to ask for most of the students' engagement. Asynchronous, that's where they're going to be assigned some modules. I'm not a huge fan of homework. I know every work done right now is at home, but I think we can get a lot more done when we're together and bouncing ideas off each other and working with feedback. But I will have some things that the students will do on their own, and then they will complete those on Canvas, submit those modules for credit. Research and responses, so this will be either giving the students the research necessary from many medical journals across the world, or they will have to go out there and find some valid, reliable sources, and then we'll give them some prompts and some responses. And then projects. I'm going to try to, obviously, this class is a very hands-on class in the past, and so I'm going to try to still bring that home and try to find some activities, some projects for us to do where the students are building certain things, as well as maybe putting together some some digital electronic presentations. Assessments. So, as I mentioned, in-class engagement is going to be the big one. The modules, step by step, as they go through those, they'll be getting points as they complete each of those modules. Presentations, where the students will be given a topic that they will become the expert on and present, similar to a project where it might be a handmade some type of project, or it might be some type of electronic presentation. Kahoots and Quizlets we'll use online to try to keep the kids interactive and engaged and having some fun, as well as a nice little learning tool and review system. Google Form quizzes I've put together in the past. Now with the modules on Canvas, you might not have to use those as much, but it's pretty much just a checkbox, short answer type of quizzes, making sure the students are following along, and quick feedback for them so that they know where they stand with the rest of the class. And then some case studies, so some real live case studies where the students will go and delve into all the information about an individual or a group of individuals and maybe the injuries or illnesses they suffered, and to try to figure out how normal that is, how abnormal it is, so that they would be prepared in case they ever came across that in the future. Connect. Best way to connect is probably through Canvas or email. My Gmail email, the AUHSD Schools, is connected to Canvas. So when you are trying to communicate through Canvas, I'm getting it through this email. Otherwise, you can just go to your email and start plugging in. If you have a Gmail, these might pop up if I've ever emailed you or you've emailed me. jgrigsby@auhsdschools.org. For the Zoom room etiquette and the Zoom room kind of rules, your students are amazing. Everybody's doing just fine, so I'm not too concerned about this right now. We just want to make sure they have a quiet space, and I keep reiterating, I don't want you on a couch or in bed. I don't want you to associate stress of school with your comfort zone, where you are trying to go to sleep or trying to relax and watch TV or something. So I ask the students to try to be in a chair, at a desk if that's possible. Obviously quiet space away from distractions. Phones are okay to have. I don't want them really on them until I'm asking them to pull them out to do a Quizlet or a Kahoot, something like that. Schedule, please try to keep a schedule just similar to you be at school. Try to have the students waking up, half an hour to an hour before class to try to get the yawns out, give them some breakfast, and then plan their day so that they know if it needs to be on a schedule inside the kitchen, on the refrigerator, in their room, in the bathroom. But trying to see it as we're all trying to learn when our new classes are. These cohort academies that are every Monday, even though I'm not meeting live with my other classes. So try to help them with that schedule and preparation. And as I mentioned, communication is going to be key for all of us. If you're struggling, my power was out on Sunday before school started. If you are having Wi-Fi issues, anything like that, please communicate. We are so open right now to try to help you and make your student the best learner possible and provide them with everything they need. And with that, we usually end every meeting with Go Mats! I'm looking forward to working with your student this year and making it a wonderful year. Appreciate you stopping by. Take care.